Hello there, everyone. The Practical AI Lady here. I'm Lady, the Practical AI Lady, and today I want to talk about analyzing relationship dynamics and communication styles using text message screenshots and Notebook LM. So there is a little bit of prep that needs to happen before you can do this. The first thing you need to do is you need to choose your screenshots between the two individuals and upload them to a Google Doc. Now, a couple quick points about choosing your screenshots and setting up your Google Doc. Now, it's important to include a variety of interactions between the two individuals. If you only include fights or high conflict interactions, then Notebook LM is only going to have those interactions to conduct its analysis from. So it's important to include a variety of interactions between the individuals so that you can get a more well-rounded and accurate analysis. So, for example, here between Daniel and Alex, I have like a text message where they argue. I have a text message in here where they're like flirty. I have a text message in here where they're talking about an inside joke. So lots of different interactions because that's going to give me a more well-rounded an accurate analysis of the relationship dynamic and communication styles between these individuals. Secondly, it's better for you to have no more than 10 screenshots per Google document. The reason for this is because it can overwhelm the AI if you give it one Google document with 489 pages versus 10 Google documents with 10 screenshots each. So you'll see here I have created two text documents and both of them have 10 screenshots each. This one might have 11, so I would keep it somewhere in that area. I wouldn't go any higher than that because you don't want to overwhelm the AI. So again, it's better to have multiple text documents with 10 screenshots apiece than one Google document with 489 screenshots and pages. All right, so if you watched my video where I used Notebook LM to analyze a Google Sheet, you may remember how to navigate to Notebook LM. If you didn't watch that video, definitely check it out. I'll link it in the cards. But you go to your Google page in Google Chrome, click on your apps or your waffle, and it will show up. Mine shows up down towards the bottom. And then we're going to open up to Notebook LM. We're going to create a new notebook. And you can include all kinds of different sources for Notebook LM, but we're going to go ahead and upload those Google Docs with our screenshots in them. All right, and we're going to go ahead and let those load in. And what it's going to do is it's going to generate a summary here. It may even, often it will give the notebook a title. So you can see here I've added my sources. It's breaking down that these are text messages between a couple named Alex and Daniel, capturing various stages and moods of their romantic relationship. So again, that variety. Now, I want to be careful because when I'm doing my analysis, I don't want the AI to confuse who sent what message. So I'm going to go over here to my sidebar where it says add note, and I'm going to create a note that identifies who sent which messages. So I'm going to say the blue messages are from Alex and the gray messages are from Daniel. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and give this note a name, identifying the messengers. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to convert it to a source. And what that's going to do is it's going to add it to my sources over here. And now you can see it's generated a name for my notebook. You can rename your notebook by clicking up at the top here. And there's a whole bunch of different ways that I can analyze this relationship. Oh, real quick about the note identifying the senders of the messages. Um, be wary that that is sometimes an error that will happen, especially if you're using like iPhones and the reply feature, because that changes the way the text messages look when you use the reply feature, and that can sometimes trick the AI into attributing the text message to the wrong person. So just be wary of that. Adding the note as a source helps with that, but it doesn't always completely rectify the issue. Like I said, especially in instances where you may be using that reply feature, if you have an iPhone. I'm not sure what the Android equivalent of that is, but that's just kind of a scenario that might come up. And again, the note helps, but just be mindful that that is something that can still happen. All right, so we've created our note. We can ask questions. So I can ask, what are the reoccurring sources of conflict in their relationship? And here the AI is going to scan the sources, and it's going to provide me with a response. And here you can see it's broken down the main sources of conflict in their relationships based on the text messages that I've uploaded. And these little numbers here are the source. So it cites where it got that information from. So you can see here it got that from thread 1, it got that from thread 2. You can create a podcast. So let's say I want to create a podcast about the relationship dynamics. So analyze the message dynamics, how they contribute differently to the conversation is the way that it phrased it down here. Because down here, Notebook LM will offer you some prompt suggestions, but you can always insert your own as well. So I could say analyze the relationship dynamic between Alex and Daniel. And I can create a podcast. I can create a mind map, which is really cool. And I'll show you why in a second. I can create a video that, and again, it gives you these suggestions on here. So let's see, we got character roles. Focus on how Alex and Daniel communicate through their distinct messaging styles. Okay, so you can create a video about that. Maybe I'll create an infographic and a slide deck. Break down the relationship dynamics and communication styles between Alex and Daniel. I'll go ahead and hit generate. So you can see there's all kinds of different artifacts you can use to analyze these screenshots. You can include a variety of prompts to analyze the screenshots. One thing I like to do is I like to come to the reports and I like to see the suggestions down here that are offered. See if there are any intriguing or interesting ideas. So here's a relationship case analysis. And you can always click on it to get it to generate the report. You can also edit it by clicking on the pen. One thing I like to do when I'm doing this kind of an analysis is I like to create a report that looks at character sketches or creates character sketches of the individuals who are sending the messages. So create character sketches of Alex and Daniel and hit generate there. Now this will take some time to generate. Show you the mind map. So Notebook LM will generate a mind map. it's broken it down in this particular way. It looks at their time together, their domestic life, their relationship challenges, and their connection and support. I can go even further and look at emotional support and then their banter and intimacy. I can look at trust and fidelity and social family pressure, future plans and home management, dining out, home cooking, outings. Now, the cool thing about the mind maps is that I can click on these subsections and it will generate an analysis of that subsection in the chat. So you can see I just clicked time together, and this is discuss what these sources say about time together and the larger context of Alex and Daniel's relationship. And you can see here it has given me a breakdown of that particular subsection of the mind map. Really like to look down here and see what interesting questions are being suggested. Sometimes a question might be recommended that you really didn't think of. Here is the generated interdynamics and behavioral patterns. So this is the case analysis document. And you can always view your prompt. So this was the one that I clicked on that was suggested. And here it's breaking down their communication modes. It's provided text evidence. And friction points. So lots of interesting things that you can create. And see here, Notebook LM is citing the specific text messages. So that's why it says source 4, 16, 17. It's counting the text messages. So I would be looking at text messages 4, 16, and 17 in order to see examples of the minimization. I would look at 4 and 17 to see the confrontation patterns of Alex. And here's my character sketches. So, explains narrative personas. Here's my character profiles. And again, it's pulling all of its information to create these artifacts from these sources. Just these sources. So, look, here we have personal preferences, communication styles, and now we're going to look at Daniel. All kinds of different ways to analyze the relationship using those screenshots. So here's the infographic that I created that I didn't provide a prompt for. I just generated it. I could have typed in a prompt. So it's looking at a modern relationship. So friction, communication gaps, connection and growth. And since the rest of these will take some time, I have pre-generated some examples for you. So here is a slide deck, and the prompt. Oops. So with Notebook LM, we actually just got this feature, by the way. You can revise the slide deck. So if there were a typo on this page, I could hit the revise button here that I just clicked on when I was trying to click on view prompt. You can hit the revise button and you can revise individual slides, and it will regenerate the slide deck in case there's an error or duplicate information. Remember, you should always be checking your outputs. But here, break down the relationship dynamic between Alex and Daniel, compare and contrast their communication styles as evident in their text message threads. So you can see here, here's the slide deck. It's given them kind of like persona tags here, the expressive engine, the grounding force, and then the synthesis. calling it a complementary push-pull dynamic. Here it's breaking down Alex. Here's Daniel. So that's an example of the slide deck. Video. This is a video within a video.
Welcome to the
This is very meta. So this is the video that I generated ahead of time, and again, it's focused on the relationship between Alex and Daniel, contrast their communication styles, really kind of, again, providing multimodal kind of analysis options here. Do them all, do a couple, whatever works for you. And I think that that's about it, guys. I think that I've covered it. Like, comment, subscribe, all those YouTube shenanigans, and I will see you in the next one.